morning, everyone. Welcome to the iBUG Buzz number 654 for October 7th of 2024. Can you believe it's October already? Fall season, lots of leaves on the ground. So I welcome, this is an open forum for the discussion of the accessibility features of the iDevices. First of all, I am Maria, and I will be facilitating the conference tonight. So this is an open forum for anyone who is wishing to, who has questions or issues with their, and by iDevice, we mean the iPhone, the iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, or HomePod. And for anyone who is desiring to become more proficient in using the accessibility features of these iDevices, we focus here on the use of the VoiceOver screen reader with these devices. And of course, we also cover the use of various accessories in conjunction with VoiceOver, like the use of braille displays and keyboards, phones, speakers, power banks, all kinds of things. So welcome to everyone who has joined in tonight live, and to those who will be listening to the conference via the recorded podcast playback. If you would like to keep up with everything that we've got going on at iBUG, you can visit our website at ibugtoday.com. That is ibugtoday.com. And there you can subscribe to our mailing list so that you receive emails about all of our upcoming events and don't miss anything that we've got going on. You can access podcast recordings, information about our meetings. You can access information about our Jumpstart mentoring program and other resources, and that is at ibugtoday.org. We have a Facebook group to which you can join to ask questions during the week, so in between these calls, and you can join that group by going to facebook.com/groups. So that's plural, facebook.com/groups/iBUG today. We also, you can follow us on X and on Instagram, and that is at iBUG today on both of those. We, all of our conference recordings, not only of this event, but many of our other events as well, those are archived on our website, and they can be searched by topic. The iBUG Buzz podcast, along with the iBUG Cafe and the iBUG Apple Workshop, iBUG Android Insights. So several of our calls are available as podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Alexa, or the podcast app of your choosing, your favorite podcatcher, by subscribing or following the podcast. So the podcast for this event is iBUG Buzz, and recordings are also available on our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to. That is the channel is iBUG Today. We have an iBUG Jumpstart mentoring program. So if you are new to the use of the iPhone with VoiceOver and you'd like to get a helping hand in learning the basics, you can sign up to that program, and one of our mentors will be happy to meet with you one-on-one to help you to learn some of those fundamental skills for VoiceOver use. And if you would like to be a mentor and help someone to really gain their confidence in the use of this powerful technology, you can also find on our website the application to be a mentor. So both the mentee and the mentor applications are there on our website. And once you complete those, we will reach out to you. We have many training events that happen throughout the month, both training events and social events. Just this week upcoming, so this is the iBUG Buzz, and this takes place each Monday at the same time. This week we have, and all of these times are in Central Time. Tomorrow we have our mini buzz. So tomorrow, October 8th, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. All of our events are on this Zoom line. So this mini buzz is like a mini version of this iBUG buzz that you are at now. So for an hour tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central, you can come and ask your questions about iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, Apple TVs, and HomePods and the accessibility of those iDevices. Then this Thursday, the 10th of October, we have our Vila Book Club from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time. And this is being facilitated this month. This is a book club, and that is facilitated this month by Gail. And we are reading The Poisonwood Bible, a classic by Barbara Kingsolver. And that is my addition to say that that is a classic. It is called The Poisonwood Bible, and it's by Barbara Kingsolver. The DB number on board is DB number 46882, and it's also available on Bookshare. And it's about an American missionary family that lands in the village of Kilanga in the Congo in 1959, and the cultural confrontation that begins immediately. The family, there's a mother and 4 daughters, and they react to their new environment, and the villagers respond to their new preacher, and the family dynamics change. And all of this is intensified by the Congo's own political turmoil. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can join us on Thursday to discuss and or learn more about that book. Then this Sunday, the 13th of October, we've got the iBUG Cafe from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Central Time. The iBUG Cafe is facilitated by Shri, and it is a deep dive into an app or feature of iOS. And this month, we're doing a deep dive into iOS itself as we take a look at the new features, just some of the many new features in iOS 18. So we hope you will join us for some or all of these events. Again, all being held on the Zoom platform. All of our events are free. All of our services are free. There are no membership dues or fees. And stay on the call if you would like to, or if you can. Tonight, after the formal portion of our iBUG Buzz has completed at 9 p.m. Central Time, we will have our after buzz. This is the time that we facilitators go away and you all get to spend time with each other. You can talk about anything other than technology and politics and religion. So do stay tuned for the after buzz so that you can all get to know each other outside of the topic of iDevice accessibility. So with that, we will now go around the virtual room. We're going to take a moment to go around the line and have everyone introduce yourself and where you are from. And please do let us know if you are a first-time participant. So I am Maria in Albany, New York, and you may unmute to introduce yourselves.
This is Ed from Georgetown, Ontario.
Welcome, Ed.
Hi, this is Vincent in New Jersey.
Hey, Vincent, welcome.
Thank you.
Jake from Michigan.
Hey, Jake, welcome.
Hello.
Brian from Ontario.
Hi, Brian, welcome.
Shay from Seattle.
Hello, Kay. Shay, welcome.
Thank you.
Jody from New Hampshire.
Hey, Jody, welcome.
Hi, Maria.
Canada.
Hello from Canada. Welcome. Another from Canada. Welcome. All right. Very good. Who else would like to say hello?
Cheryl from Ohio.
Dawn from Houston.
Hey, hello to you both. Welcome.
Sarah from Vermont.
Kansas.
Hello to you both. Welcome.
This is Dee from down here in Illinois.
Hello, Dee from down there in Illinois. Welcome.
Marvin from Chicago.
Hey, Marvin. Welcome.
Dan from Southern California.
Hello.
Linda from near Houston.
All right. Hello, Linda from close to Houston. Welcome. Mhm. Anyone else would like to say hello?
Hi, it's Vanessa, Georgia.
Hey, Vanessa. Welcome.
Brad Dallas.
Hello, Brad.
Bye.
And Julie, welcome.
Hi.
Paul in Columbus.
Hey, Paul, welcome.
Hi, from Ohio. Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome.
Elizabeth from Newfoundland, Canada.
Hello.
Hello.
David from Houston.
Hey, David, welcome.
Judy from Chicago.
Hello, welcome. All right. Anyone else would like to say hello?
Leslie from Arizona.
Welcome, Leslie. All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, welcome, everyone. Glad to have all of you back with us on iBUG Buzz. So who would like to get us started for the evening and kick it off with the first question or comment?
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, I'm going to ask my question before I fall asleep.
Sounds good.
Yes. Okay. I forgot how to change the voice rate on the Apple Watch.
All right. Who would like to talk about changing voice rate on the Apple Watch? I know we have a few Apple Watch users.
They all asleep already.
Brad.
Well, the easiest thing to do is to do it with the rotor. Just like on your iPhone, if you do the rotor gesture until you get to speech rate and then flick up or down. You did say speech rate, right? Or did you say volume?
Right.
Yes.
Either way, you can do them both.
Okay, this is D.
Yes, go ahead, D.
Follow-up question. Now I feel really stupid. Is there a rotor on the watch?
Yes,
there are no dumb questions.
Yes, there is a rotor on the watch.
I don't remember that.
Just like, it's been there a while. I don't think it was always there, but it has been there now for several years. But just pretend you're on your iPhone with a smaller screen and turn either clockwise or counterclockwise till you'll hear it say speech rate and then flick up or down. And you'll speed it up or slow it down.
Thank you so much.
All right. Very good. All right. Who would like to ask the next question? Any new apps that you've gotten to try, or there was an iOS 18.0.1 update that recently came out. If anyone has any experiences to share with that.
This is Vincent.
Vincent, go ahead.
I don't have anything related to the upgrades, but I do have a question.
That's okay.
Go ahead. I have an issue with the copy command. I believe that it's four finger. I forget if it is triple or quadruple tap. Anyway, I cannot get it to work on a regular basis. I have a lot of problems with that. So what I wanted to do was to have another gesture, another command for that. And I heard a suggestion to use a four-finger swipe up for copying, and then four-finger swipe down for pasting. Both are not used and can be used. So I went to VoiceOver and I went to commands, and I found the four-finger swipe up and down in the commands. So I selected them. But the only problem is that I have no idea how to attach the function to the command. So even though I have the command selected and they are no longer available, no function was assigned. So I wonder if anybody can help with that.
All right. Very good. Who would like to? Oh, yes. Were you finished? I'm sorry.
Yes. And I just wanted to mention that this was on the phone.
Okay, very good. All right, who would like to talk about how to customize gestures in VoiceOver? There are many gestures that you can customize, and how do you attach the gesture to a function? And remember, you do have to unmute yourself if you would like to
This is Jody.
a comment. Go ahead, Jody.
I'm not sure, but I think that since that gesture's already been assigned to the three-finger quadruple tap, I'm not sure if you can assign it to a new gesture. I think you can only assign gestures if they're not being used differently.
All right. Does anyone else have any thoughts on customizing gestures? All right. This perhaps then sounds like something that we need to do a little bit of homework on to see if that is possible to do. I know I have heard of people customizing, for example, the rotor gesture to be another gesture, but since I haven't personally done customizing in a very long time, it sounds like it is something that can be some homework for someone to look up. Or Vincent, if you do figure it out by playing with it a bit, do share and let us know. But I believe you pick. It may be that you pick a function that already has a gesture, and then when you select it, there might be an add gesture. But honestly, since it's been quite a long time since I've been in there, I can't be sure. So we have
this is Jody again.
Have some homework. All right, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, just as an example, I had assigned one of the unused gestures to going to the status bar. And then that, in an update, that gesture was assigned to another function. And I wasn't able to use it to go to the status bar anymore because it had the new function. So that's the reason why I think that might be true.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because somehow, I see. Like there was a with a new gesture, a conflict or something was introduced.
There was a conflict that was introduced. That's the only reason why I wonder if it didn't work. The three-fingered quadruple tap isn't really that tricky.
This is Vincent.
Right. Yes, go ahead, Vincent.
Yeah, no, well, I probably have problems with my fingers because I find it extremely difficult to use, and that's why I need to switch it. But I'm going to do the what Jody suggests. I'm going to go to the gestures once again and disassociate the four-finger quadruple tap with copying, and maybe by disassociating it, then I will be able to use a four-finger swipe up for copying.
Yeah, it's the three-finger quadruple tap.
Three-finger quadruple. Right.
Quadruple tap. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
All right. Good luck with that. Yes. Go ahead, Pat.
I reassigned something a while back, and it was, you had to use some unassigned gestures to do that. But I don't know if you can use something that is already assigned. There's only a few gestures that are not being used,
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did that many, many years ago. I don't remember what I did.
Sure. So I'm looking in real time. There is, Vincent, I think what you're referring to is in the other section, there is a copy speech to clipboard. And I think that's what you're referring to. So if you go, I think you had said you weren't able to find it. So I would say in the gesture that you want to assign, if it's, as others have said, if it's unassigned, if it's either currently unassigned or if you take the, current command away from it, you should be able to find, like, for example, just to play with it, I picked something like the back tap or something. And then in the list of commands in the other section, there's this copy speech to clipboard that I could choose. But again, I picked one that was undefined, as others have said. So that might be worth trying. Greg, yes, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, Maria, I just tried, and it's been a while since I've done that. But yeah, if you go into the commands and the touch gestures, and go down to the four-finger swipe up, for example, and double tap on that, then I think if you flick right and just keep flicking right, I think it runs you through a list of the different things that you can assign to that command gesture, and then you just double tap on the one that you want to assign to that gesture.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm selecting that as well. Like, for example, four-finger swipe up. And then, yes, under the commands, it's just a matter of finding the scrolling by heading is not completely working as expected. So, yes, I am having to, it's very close to the bottom, actually. So if you go all the way to the bottom, that four-finger tap in the bottom half of the screen, you'll get to the reset to default, which will do as it says. And if you flick to the left, I think it's literally 2 times. It's like the second to the bottom command, which is copy speech to clipboard. And I think, Vincent, that's what you're looking for. So
thank you. This is Vincent. Thank you very much, Greg. Yeah. That's one thing that I didn't do. Flick over to the left or right. That's one thing I didn't do. Thank you very much.
This is Greg.
Okay, we'll take Greg and then Pat, and then I think we can shift from this. Yes, go ahead.
Right. I heard on another podcast that, and I had not heard this before, but if you wanted to do a 3-finger quadruple tap or any other gesture, you could literally tap with 1 finger 3 times, and then on the 4th tap, do 4 fingers. So if you wanted to do a 2-finger triple tap, you could tap 1 time with, a 2-finger triple tap. You could just use 1 finger and tap, and then on that 3rd tap, use however many fingers you're supposed to use on that gesture. It seems more confusing but I did not realize you could do that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So you're saying instead of, for example, the 3, whichever gesture, right? But like in this case, the 3-finger quadruple taps, they're saying if I tap with 3 fingers, if I tap if I tap 3 times with 1 finger and then 1 time with 3 fingers fairly quickly, it should do the same thing.
Yeah. If it's a 3-finger quadruple tap, you could, with 1 finger, tap, and then on that 4th tap, you need to tap all 4 fingers.
Wow, it worked. And then tap with 3 fingers. Thank you. Well, I hope, Vincent, that helps you. That is a useful tip. We are all learning from each other. That is, wow.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
2 options now.
Very cool. All right. And Pat, go ahead.
I was going to say that. And I was also going to say, if you have a hard time tapping 3 or 4 fingers, you can turn your screen long ways, landscape, so that if you have bigger hands, you can get all your fingers on there. And, you can also, if you're doing 3 fingers, you can use 2 fingers on one hand and 1 finger on the other, or 2 on each hand if it's a 4-finger. Some people have trouble doing 3 or 4 fingers at a time, so that does work too.
All right, very good. Thank you for those suggestions. All right, very good discussion. Thank you all. Who would like to ask the next question or make the next comment?
This is Linda.
Linda, go ahead.
A friend told me of this new app to me. I don't know if it's been mentioned here or not, but it's called Speakaboo. And you download the app from the App Store, and it's an AI app. And you, after you set it up, it's just, it asks you if you want to, give your camera permission and the microphone permission. And then you tap it twice and it'll take a picture and it'll tell you what the picture sees. Or you can tap and hold and ask it, like, what color is this bedspread? And it'll come back and say the bedspread is beige. And it's just a quicker way to use what Seeing AI does. And it's very cool, very fast.
All right, very cool. And that's called Speakaboo, like Speakaboo.
Yes, in one word.
All right. Very cool.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for sharing. Good stuff.
You're welcome.
Anyone else played with this app? Have any thoughts?
This is Shree.
Shree, go ahead.
I have used it, and one thing I like about this app is it doesn't do very descriptive. So if you don't want something to be described in great detail, this was a good app.
All right. Different tools in the toolbox. That's for sure. All right. Very good. Who would like to ask the next question? Make the next comment? Brian, didn't you have a WhatsApp question?
This is Brian.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Actually, I got a text message, and now I know why it did that.
All right.
Yeah, no, the person that I was saying your security code has changed, they had to reset their iPhone 16 on the weekend.
Yes, that's what I had looked this up in the help center before we got started. It's not just it's if they need to reinstall the app for whatever reason, or as you said, that kind of a reset, some kind of a drastic thing. This actually pertains to the security key that is used. So what this is if you receive a notification that the security key with a certain WhatsApp contact has changed, this is relating to the security key that's used for the end-to-end encryption between messages between you and that other person. And yes, that occurs if there's been some device or app related change on their end, which it sounds like was the case with your friend Brian. So
yeah,
that was expected. All right. Well, very good. Thank you for sharing, and glad you got that sorted. All right.
This is Shree.
Shree,
can I follow up a question with what Greg was mentioning about the tap 3 times and then do the 3-finger single tap?
Sure. So it was doing a 3-finger. So it was doing all of the taps except for the last one. It's with 1 finger, and then the final tap is whatever the actual gesture was.
So does it work for all of them? Because I tried I did it 3 times with 1 finger, then did a 4-finger single tap. It didn't do anything. So is this, or am I missing something?
Yeah, so for this example is the 3-finger the 3-finger quadruple tap, right? To copy, is that what we're talking about?
I guess I was confused. So was Vincent saying he had a difficulty doing 3-finger triple tap?
So his difficulty was with the copy gesture, the copying the last thing that VoiceOver said to the, which is a 3-finger quadruple tap. Okay. So going by what Greg said, if you did, instead of with 3 fingers tapping 4 times, tapping 3 times with 1 finger and then 1 time with 3 fingers very quickly, that should work. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Yes. All right. Who would like to ask the next question?
This is Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
I have an Apple Watch, and when I tap it, it'll tell me what time it is. So say it says it is 9:32 in 15 seconds. And if I tap it again, it'll say it's 9:32 in 22 seconds. And if I tap it again, it'll say 9:32 and 41 seconds. I don't understand. Why does it do that?
All right. Who would like to? Yes, go ahead, Brad.
Well, because like a regular watch that has a second hand that's sweeping, every time you tap it, it's telling you hours, minutes, and seconds. And the seconds are changing every second.
Yeah, but why are they going up instead of down?
They go up. It gets later. Same reason minutes go up, hours go up. It gets later.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
I heard what you said.
Yeah,
it gets later.
It says 9:32 in 10 seconds. And then if I tap it again, it'll say 9:32 in 20 seconds.
Because that's 10 seconds later. time moves forward.
Yeah, but
This is Greg.
Hang on one moment. Okay, one moment.
Hang
folks.
on, Greg. Let me finish with him. Because it's the second hand, it's as if you had a mechanical watch and the second hand is constantly moving. Every time you tap it, it's a few seconds later than the last time you tapped it.
This is Ed.
Okay, yep, go ahead, Ed.
Now, listen to what I'm saying, Brad.
Okay.
The watch says 9:32 in 2 seconds.
It's in versus
and then it
yeah, well, let's just.
Okay, hang on, folks. Wait a minute. One at a time. Ed, please finish. Yes,
and
Ed,
then
please
it
finish.
says 9:32 in 10 seconds.
Well,
and then it says 9:32.
Hang on. Brad, please wait.
20 seconds. So when it's getting closer to 9:32, the seconds should be less, not more.
This is Brad.
Okay, thank you. All right.
It's
go
not
ahead,
saying how many seconds until it's 9:32. It is saying 9:32 and A-N-D 10 seconds. It just doesn't say it right.
9:32 and 10 seconds?
Yes, and then it says 9:32 and 20 seconds. It's just not speaking it clearly.
Oh, so it's not going to. It's not the seconds before. It's
correct.
After. Okay.
After.
Okay. Thank you.
And you can go in there and turn those seconds off if you want.
This is Pete.
There's a setting in there to make it say the seconds. There's 3 settings. You can have it say the seconds if the watch face you're using shows seconds, like has a second hand. You can make it so it says the seconds whether it has a second hand or not. Or you can tell it don't read seconds at all.
Yeah.
And it's under setting in your watch app under general and then time, I believe is where it is.
This is
Ed. One moment, Ed, before you, Pete, I think, wanted to make a comment.
I just wanted to point out to Ed, you remember decades back in the 50s and 60s, Ed, when you would call a phone number and it would tell you the time of day? That's what it always used to say. It would say, it's 12:01 and 20 seconds. It's 12:01 and 30 seconds.
Yes, thank you. Brad answered that question a few minutes ago, and I said, "Oh, it's saying and, not in."
Right.
That was
I was giving you a time frame reference
a long time ago. I know where all the settings are and everything else. I just didn't understand what the watch was saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Yeah, you gotta love especially with the speech, since the text to speech updates. Sometimes the pronunciation changes a little bit, especially if it's reading like that in context. All right. Very good. All right. Who would like to ask the next question? You can unmute and say your name.
This is Pete.
Pete.
I would like to ask Greg if he has been able to make that tap gesture work, the 1113 gesture. Sorry, I just lost my voice.
Are you asking in general if all gestures?
No, I've tried the 1113 finger tap that he's talked about, and I have not been able to get it to work.
Okay. I mean, he did indicate that it worked. I have just tried it. Let me see here. Yep, I just tried it as well. Let's see. I'm on a heading 1113. Yep, it says that text is copied to clipboard. So you do have to do it in the same order, like the same speed, as if you are doing it. So I wonder if that might be part of the issue. Yeah, or maybe check if something's being a little odd, either your screen oh gosh, what is the name of that set? Where it asks how many the delay between when it responds. Yeah, double tap timeout. But then there's also the new setting in iOS 18, whose name I'm not recalling. The one about how long voiceover waits to respond to your taps.
Right. Double tap timeout.
There is double tap timeout, but I thought there was another setting, as a delay before selection. That's what it's called. The one right before that. Yeah. And so check both of those perhaps, and those might be a little off.
All right.
All right. Very good. All right. Who'd like to ask the next question? Don't be shy. There are no silly questions. We're all learning from each other.
Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I heard that, everybody's going smart glasses crazy, and I've heard that Apple is going to be coming out with a smart glasses to compete with Meta. So I think that those glasses will probably be a lot more compatible with our phones. So I don't know if it's worth waiting for them or how much they'll cost, but I just thought I'd comment. I also heard ChatGPT might be coming out with some.
Yes, the tech rumor mill is always a buzz for sure. So that is something for us to be on the lookout for.
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, I'd like to ask. Didn't catch what Jody, the name of the outfit she said's coming out with these new smart glasses.
Apple. No, Apple. This is Jody.
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, Apple might be coming out with their own smart glasses. And also, Meta's going to be coming out with a newer model, too. Either the end of this month or the beginning of next year. I can't remember which.
All right. And just a reminder that those do have apps, like the Meta glasses do have an app that goes with the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Brian. Oh.
All right. First we'll go to Dee and then Brian.
Oh, well, I was just going to tell Jody that I had mentioned to her that the new Metas are supposed to come out after the 17th.
Okay, yep.
All right.
Just told me about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
And Brian, go ahead.
What I've heard is not new glasses. It's they're going to have a major software update.
All right. Well, again, this is we will be all having to keep our ears out and our eyes or fingers, whatever they may be, to the tech press to see how this evolves. But exciting times ahead, and any information on software updates is available in the Meta View app. So very good. All right, go ahead, David, and then I think we can shift from this one. David, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is not about that.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
The watch.
Okay.
I think I noticed when I updated the watch OS, it started doing what he was saying. It mentions the seconds when it didn't used to do that. So I think that feature might have gotten turned on everybody's watch. So
okay.
I guess I need to go and turn it off. It is a little annoying, because I don't really need to know the time that precisely most of the time. And the other comment I was going to make was about the customizing the gestures. You can go into voiceover settings and then under commands and then next menu touch gestures, and it lists them all out, the predefined ones. And then some of them you can't change, they're grayed out or kind of like not changeable, but the ones that are changeable, you can tap the button and it gives you all the different things you can assign to that gesture. And I did the 2-finger left and right swipe because those aren't predefined with anything. And I made it like heading to the next heading and to the previous heading. And that's pretty helpful for navigating web pages and other things.
All right. Very good. Thank you for that. Yes, many commands that are certainly available to assign to some of those undefined gestures and the back tap as well of the phone and such. So very good. All right. Who would like to ask the next question or make the next comment? All right. And okay. Yes. If you would like to ask a question or make a comment, please do raise Or excuse me, please do unmute and say your name. Any questions? Pat, go ahead.
I just kind of have a comment. They've updated pages, and I did talk about this last week, where you used to tap in the upper left to get a list of, files you had in there. And now you have to swipe all the way on the screen. It has the, templates on there mixed in with the things you have created and saved. And then I had an agenda in there that I copy from month to month and just change it. And when I went to rename it, I'm like, okay, you used to swipe to the right till you heard done. And I wasn't hearing anything. And here, the done button is on the keyboard in the bottom right hand corner. I mean, I would have been swiping through all those letters before I found it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
All right.
So I just wanted to say that in case anybody plays with pages or creates documents.
All right. Thank you for sharing. And it sounds like for more on that, your initial impressions, we can review the recording of last week's call, which is the iBUG Buzz 653. All right. Very good. Thank you for sharing, Pat. Who would like to ask the next question?
This is Jerry from Vermont.
Jerry from Vermont. Go ahead.
I just want to make a comment. Kind of a shout out for the app Tips. It's an Apple app, and they update it, I think, with every major, update. And there's various things in there that can be very helpful if you're stuck. And sometimes, when they come out with some new brilliant tip, it goes on in my notification center. Excuse me. So I just want to make a comment that, don't forget about that, and don't forget about voiceover practice. I think Pete or somebody mentioned that earlier. Those are very, very useful tools. I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for that. And in iOS 18 in the last few iOS releases, there have been little tips as well in the voiceover screen about new features. And also now there's a voiceover what's new section as well. So that's another place to learn about new features. So yes, definitely great to see Apple documenting items a bit more readily to make it easier for us to find. All right. Who'd like to ask the next question?
Hey, Maria, it's Raheel.
Hey, Raheel, go ahead.
I haven't seen you in a long time. I was wondering what phone I should get based on, because I'm trying to use Braille screen input every day and all that, and sometimes it's kind of hard sometimes with my fingers, because sometimes I type the wrong letters with the Braille screen input and things, and I don't know which phone I should get based on what the size of my hands are and all that, because I'm like 5'7" tall, and yeah. Thank you.
All right. So which phone do you have now, so that we have a starting point?
I have a 13 Pro, but I want to upgrade to the newest one, either the Max or whatever. I don't know.
Sure. So size-wise, yeah. Okay. And before anyone gives any thoughts on size, a tip that you are able to calibrate the dots for Braille screen input before you start typing by typing one set, so like dots 4, 5, 6, and then dots 1, 2, 3, and that would be calibrating the dots in the locations where you touched them.
I always calibrate the dots, and then what happens is dot 5 appears before dot 4, I might have to send you an email to coordinate something in person.
Well, we don't in terms of the buzz call. This is a group call, but in terms of but in terms of your question there, the .5 appearing before the .4, that might depend. That might be a mismatch between how you're holding the phone and the way in which mode it's in. So there's the screen away mode and the tabletop
screen away mode. I don't do the
Okay.
tabletop.
Sure. Okay. And so you're holding it with the screen away mode, right? You're holding the phone with the sides of your finger, your thumb and pinkies are supporting the long edges, and then your other two hands are coming in like vertical columns, right?
I usually put it on my lap, to make it easier.
Okay, so for putting it on your lap, I would suggest probably using the tabletop mode. You might find that a little easier because the screen away mode is literally designed for the screen to be facing away from you. And so the dots in screen away mode are literally like they are laid out like a vertical braille cell, like in two vertical columns.
The reason why I do that, put it on my lap, is because my fingers don't want to cooperate, and especially when I had like left-sided weakness and stuff. So
sure, no, that's fine. It's just that the mode, right? The tabletop mode, because your lap is quote unquote like the table, right? So
it is kind of like the table, but I know that Herbie, if you're on the call, you mentioned just putting it in screen away mode, and that's no problem. So.
Okay. So I would definitely suggest experimenting with those two modes to see which one might be, because the tabletop one is going to be kind of like a V shape, and you might find that is better for when you're on your lap. But does anyone have any thoughts relating to sizes of the iPhone as it pertains to Braille screen input, the physical sizes? I know I have a Pro, but I have not seen the others. I believe the Pro might be smaller of the certainly the Pro Max is going to be larger, but I think even the non-Pro are bigger. Yes, go ahead, Jake.
The Pro is smaller than the Pro Max,
right?
And the 16 does have like a it doesn't have like a mini, but it has your standard size, but it has the Plus, which is bigger. So if he's talking about the Pro Max.
He's talking about the Pro at the moment.
No, I know.
What his baseline. Okay.
Yeah. So if he's talking about the Pro, then that's a smaller size. If he wants a bigger size, he would go with the Pro Max. I have the Pro Max. I've had Pro Maxes for a while, and I like it. It's the biggest one. It offers a lot of real estate, so it does work pretty well.
All right. Have you had any, in terms of the question was relating to the Braille screen input, have you been able to do that comfortably?
I don't really use.
This is for Jake. Yep.
Yeah, I don't use it. I don't use screen input, but if I were to use Braille, by the way that it looks, either you want small quarters, where you want, with the Pro, or you want a little bit more real estate. That's what I would say. You'd want more real estate, and I'm actually 5 foot, if that means anything. So, and I found it easier with the Pro Max versus the Pro.
All right. Thank you, Jake. Anyone else have any comments on this? The size, the physical size differentials, dimension-wise, and such between. Yes, go ahead, Shri.
I was just going to do a little plug here. I believe we're going to schedule for the workshop. We're going to do the Braille screen input.
All right.
What day is that?
One moment, Rahil. The Shri, is this, do you know the date offhand?
It'll be the 4th Saturday. I think that's when we do the workshop.
Oh, that's of this month. All right. Very good. And I would suggest Rahil or anyone who's unclear in terms of dates on our website, which is at ibugtoday.org. If you select events, they will all be listed there. And also, if you're subscribed to our email list, you should have gotten the October events email, and that will list the exact date as well. But it would be the 4th, if it's the 4th Saturday. So now we're approaching the 2nd Saturday. So 2 weeks from this upcoming Saturday. So that is the 26th, I believe it is, somewhere around there.
I think so, yes.
All right.
It is.
Very good. And yes, in iOS 18, the Braille screen input has gotten quite a lovely overhaul. All right. Any other? I think I heard someone else wanting to jump in. Who was that? All right. Anyone else on the different dimensions of the phones? All right. Well, Raheel, I guess I would also suggest you might find it helpful to just Google the dimensions of, obviously the Pro Max is going to be bigger, but in terms of how the non-Pro, and obviously there are other considerations, right, as to Pro versus non-Pro features, but in terms of size, I would suggest you might want to just Google the dimensions so you can get a sense
because the battery is like running, like not running, but like it needs servicing, and then I'm not.
Okay,
it's time for the upgrade, so I didn't know which
that's fine. Right. So in terms of your Braille screen input, then I would say, depending on if you're looking for larger or smaller, to look up the dimensions of the 4 models, and then you can, kind of go from there in terms of. I do know of someone who uses Braille screen input on a Max. So it all just depends for you. Like if you feel like the Pro is a little too small for you and you want more real estate, then go for the larger. If you're looking for a little smaller, I don't actually. The non-Pro models might actually look a little physically bigger. I'm not sure offhand, but
I mean, do you use Braille screen input yourself?
I do.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would suggest, it sounds like your best way forward is to maybe look at the different dimensions online and kind of see what you're comfortable with.
This is Jerry from Vermont.
Very good. All right. Good luck. Yes. Happy upgrading. Jerry, go ahead.
Well, I just want to make one quick comment about this. And that is that, oh, shoot, did I have a senior moment? I lost it. Oh, my goodness. I think what is most helpful, and you might explore this to see, unless you're using it already, is there's a button and accessibility. I believe it's under, it may be under the, it's under, before you get to VoiceOver, it's called Touch. And if you're having difficulty with fingers, there's all kinds of different things about delaying the buttons. There's this thing you can set things up in there so that it makes sense. And I would bet if you put it on, there's something that would enable you to do the screening. But now it sounds like you're going to upgrade your phone, Raheel. But I'd wait until you do that, and then go to this touch thing and see. You mentioned you've had some problems with your left hand, whatever. It may have useful stuff for you, and I would encourage anybody who's to explore that touch button, because there's a lot of stuff in there. I got caught in it. It was doing something I didn't want it to do. I couldn't get it to stop. But if you set it up more carefully than I did, I think there's a lot of good. Apple does a lot of stuff with, and we don't talk about it much because we're in the VoiceOver thing, but they do a lot of stuff with motor, issues for people, as well as the hearing we just see in the beginning of, but the sensory motor issues about screen and depending on your issues. So just go ahead, Pete.
All right, one moment.
I'm sorry, Jerry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jerry.
That's fine. I was kind of meandering here. Go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate to Raheel what we mentioned to you last week. Raheel, go into an Apple store or someplace and pick up phones and check them out yourself. I don't think anybody could or should tell you what kind of phone would be best for you here online. I think you need to feel them for yourself, and you need to take in a lot of other factors, price,
I already
what your budget is and all of that stuff. So
hang on, one at a time.
I would
please.
encourage you to go to an Apple store and look at phones.
Thank you.
Right.
I already felt one of the phones at the Apple Store, and still debating if I need a bigger size or a smaller size or what I need,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, it sounds like then that per Pete's suggestion, it might be useful for you to feel all of them if possible, like all four of the models, the Pro Max, and then the non-Pro, just the 16 and the 16 Plus, and that way you would get, and again, as Pete said, taking that into account as one factor, but that way you could get your hands on all of them and really get a sense. And obviously, another factor will depend on if you put a case on it. And what kind of case, that might add a bit to the dimensions, but at least that would give you a better sense if you could, touch all of them and then hold them as you would for Braille screen input.
So Cheryl?
Yeah. Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I'm hearing how, you go into the Apple Store and you can feel the different sizes, but is it not true that you can ask someone who works there to help you to put that Braille typing feature on their sample phones, and so you could actually try it out there in the store, not just feel the dimensions of the phone, but actually try out using that on that particular, each of the different size phones?
Sure. Has anyone had experience with that? I don't know offhand. I would think,
David.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I haven't been to Apple Store in a while, but they seem like all the phones you could just use the triple tap. Triple tap the power button to activate VoiceOver, and then of course you go in settings and do all your customization. I think they have the accessibility shortcut, I guess, programmed in there.
Okay. And I guess if they don't, I don't see why I don't know if anyone has had this experience, but if you asked one of the associates to turn it on, VoiceOver for you to play with, I can't imagine they would object, but
Cheryl.
I don't know. Has anyone had experience? Yes, go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, well, I understand that they show people very extensively all the features of the phones when they're trying to sell them a phone. When someone is there to buy a phone, they will go through all those things with people, so I don't know why they wouldn't help one-on-one go through them with us.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I think, I've gone to the store plenty of times, and you can definitely use any of the accessibility. You can, they don't disable that. But I will say that, not all stores have individuals who are fully trained to assist VoiceOver. I've only found a few stores in my area that they have at least one employee that would know something about VoiceOver, but I've had many stores that they really don't know much about VoiceOver. They know it's there, but they can't tell you much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you said you've been able to turn on the access, like you've been able to use the triple click?
Well, I'm not always the triple click because people change the phone things around, but I can definitely go into, settings, accessibility, and turn VoiceOver on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like if you have some sighted help and such, for sure, you're able to.
Or you can tell Siri to turn it on.
Oh, okay, cool. If that's enabled, yeah. Well, wonderful. It sounds like there are options. All right, go ahead, Pat, and then we can shift.
I have gone into the store to compare phones, and in the store in my area, they usually have several accessible people trained in the store. And when I bought my first phone, they were extremely helpful. I was in there for 2.5 hours, I think. They wanted to make sure I knew all the basics before I walked out the door. And that lady that was helping me, she actually was training somebody else. So, I don't know if that's why they spent so much time with me. But when my friend, we walked out there, she goes, "Oh my gosh, what time is it?" And I said, "Hey, Siri, what time is it?" She goes, "Oh my gosh, we were in there a little over 2.5 hours." And I go, "Well, at least I know how to use the phone." But I think it does depend on the location. And I would suggest if you call to make an appointment, tell them you want somebody that is knowledgeable about the accessible features.
All right. Very good. Well, that's great that you had a good experience, and it does sound like mileage may vary, but that you have options if someone isn't there who knows. But if you know how to use it, it sounds like you can enable it and play. So very good. Well, hope that is helpful in deciding phones. And can you believe with that, we are at our halftime moment in the iBUG Buzz, where it is time to find out what will be our very exciting iBUG movie this Friday for iBUG night at the virtual movies. And so, Mr. McCulloch, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm here, back again.
Woo!
All right. I guess we'll figure out the people that joined in late after we're finished with this.
Yes, we can. Well, you know what? Thank you. Why don't we do that now, and then that way we know who all is going to unmute and such potentially. So if you came in after the beginning, and if you haven't yet introduced yourself, please go ahead, and if you'd like to say hello now.
Raheel.
All right, hey, Raheel and Terry, welcome, both of you.
Pete in Florida.
Pete, welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else that'd like to say hello who
Sure,
hasn't yet
Virginia.
introduced themselves? Shri, welcome.
Jerry from Vermont.
Hey, Jerry, welcome.
Greg in Texas.
Welcome, Greg.
Alice from Alabama.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Desi in Franklin, Tennessee.
Desi, welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Beautiful. Well, welcome to you all. And Mr. McCulloch, now back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Maria. So, yeah, we are going to find out what the movie is this Friday. And you know, to do that, we have to give some clues. But before we do the clues, continuing our uses of WD-40. If you remember last time we've gone through 4 different uses. Now we're on 5. You ever have scuff marks on your floors? Well, if you'll just squirt a little WD-40 on a cloth and gently rub those scuff marks, guess what? They'll come off just like magic. And that works on tile, wood, or laminated floors. So there you go.
Wow. What doesn't it work on?
Floor-to-floor carpeting?
Yes, it will definitely it will melt the carpeting, and you won't have to worry about scuff marks anymore. All right. Oh, one more. This one only applies to probably half the people that are way up north. In a few more months, when the temperatures dip down to freezing, you may have some locks, those exterior locks. Guess what? Squirt a little WD-40 on the outside of that lock, and it will not freeze up on you.
Wow.
All right. WD-40, good for all kinds of different things. All right, now we are going to find out about the movie. Of course, it's this Friday, 8 p.m. Central Time for the movie. We have a pre-movie social at 7:15. Following the movie, we also always have discussion and trivia. So join us. And now we'll get into, no. We got to say some rules for what we're going to do here. You've got to, well, everybody gets to stay unmuted during this portion. And we want everyone to play. We love for new people.
Yes, don't be shy.
And we're going to have 5 clues. If we get that far, you get 1 guess per clue. If you've been a winner in the last 3 weeks, you're not eligible. We've had some winners like on the first clue the last couple of weeks.
No, it's been impressive.
Yeah, we got some smart people out there. And you must say your name, wait to be acknowledged, and then give us a movie title that we're looking for. Now it's time for
There you go.
There he goes.
Here he goes.
He'll be back.
All right. And we're ready for clue number 1.
We are ready.
Our film this week is set in a place where the iBUG guy recently traveled. If you've been paying attention, where has the iBUG gone recently? That's where this movie, well, part of it anyway, takes place. And it is so quiet out there. Anybody remember where the iBUG guy traveled?
I know. Yeah, does anyone know? I
know there's a few people that know.
I know. Where are you all?
I know 2 of them.
Places, flip a coin.
Well, I know. I happen to have been told by a little birdie that the iBUG guy went to Croatia recently. Maybe
correct.
that one? Whoa.
Correct. So that's where part of our movie takes place.
Cool.
All right. Moving on to clue number 2. The film is based on the novel of the same name, or naval. No, it's novel. The novel of the same name that was published way back in 1934.
Wow. Book buffs, bookworms out there. Novel from 1934.
All right, I got a feeling we may stump our
I know.
Tonight. All right, we'll move on to clue number 3. The main character is portrayed in both the novel and the film as Belgium. From Belgium, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
The main character is portrayed in both the novel and the film as from Belgium.
This is Jerry from Vermont.
Jerry from Vermont.
Is it The Third Man?
The Third Man. Well, we have not seen the first and second man, so I don't think we're going to jump to the third man tonight, this week. Good try, Jerry. Anybody else before we move on to our next clue? All right. I want to see some new people out there taking some guesses. Clue number 4. The film reflects themes of justice and morality and was inspired by the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's son.
Wow. My goodness. I feel like we should know this, but once we hear it.
Pat.
All right, Pat.
Shawshank.
Shawshank is a movie that is nowhere near Croatia, but good try. And we've already seen it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Anybody else before we move on to our fifth and final clue? All right, here we go for clue number 5. Oh, I think this will probably give it away. The film has influenced many adaptations and interpretations in detective storytelling. Ooh, cool.
Does anyone have a guess? Detective storytelling with an international flair, it sounds like. Belgian detective in Croatia.
Jody. Was that Jody?
Chris.
No, Chris. You heard Chris.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. Is that Chris with a K or Chris with a C?
Yeah. So, what are the, I don't know which one, the Agatha Christie ones? Death on the Nile?
Death on the Nile. Oh, Chris. Oh, Chris.
Wrong one.
Oh, Chris. So close, so close, so close.
Okay.
No, yeah,
all right, that gives it away for the other people that come in.
No.
All right, who knows? They're Agatha Christie's.
The other novel, the movie. Who's that? Jody.
I think it was Greg.
Greg.
Oh, Greg. Okay, got stuff in my ears.
I have no clue, Michael.
Okay, what about Murder on the Orient Express?
Murder on the Orient Express. All right, let's go back over our clues. It's traveling all around, so hot could be maybe midnight. Yeah, it's a novel of the same name. And the main character is, who's the main character in Murder on the Orient Express? Anybody know?
Hercule Poirot.
The victim.
Hercule Poirot.
No. And he is probably from either France or Belgium with that name. So that could fit. And this film was inspired by the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's son. And guess what? Greg. Oh, it was so close. So close. So Greg. So close that he's right. Ding, 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 ding. Greg.
Games with us, Michael. Good job, Greg.
They got the bell at the last clue. All right.
Greg, and what prize does Greg get?
Well, let's see. What was the murder weapon? Anybody remember the murder weapon in Murder on the Orient Express? It was a dagger. So you get the dagger that murdered Ratchet. And of course, it's in iBUG colors. So that's
right.
Even
is the red from the blood, or is it actually
red
color?
from the blood? Yeah.
all right.
That's a good one.
So that is our winner, and that is our film. Lots of great cast in this
on the
film.
Orient Express.
Is it the original?
Join us. This is the one that came out in, 1974, 50 years ago.
Wow.
And it should be a lot of fun. Come join us this Friday. I'm trying to remember all the characters or the cast. Shoot. Who knows?
Well, you'll have to come on Friday to find out now that we're on a cliffhanger here of suspense.
It has a good cast. Dang it. Oh, I remember, since I have it right here in front of me now. Albert Finney, Lauren Bacall, and Ingrid Bergman, who won an Academy Award that year, or in 75, actually. So, anyway, come join us. Yes, Friday night. So, that is our movie for the week.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. McCulloch. Would you like to say goodnight? That was when I ruled the Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCulloch. That sounds like fun. Do join us on Friday for that movie Murder on the Orient Express. And so now it is time for our iBUG Bite. And this iBUG Bite is going to give you a quick idea of one of the new features, a quick little intro to one of the new features that is found in iOS 18.
All right, here we go. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
The voiceover tutorial is a new feature in iOS 18 that allows you to both learn key voiceover skills and also to practice them in a more way. We're going to take a look at how the tutorial works and give you a feel for what is in it. While we won't go through the whole tutorial, I will let you know what the content of it is, as you can choose to jump to different sections of it as well as you are going through. So it will be helpful regardless to know what is covered in this tutorial. This is an interactive tutorial, so it does ask you to perform gestures. It recognizes when you have done that and will prompt you to continue once you have completed all of the steps on one page. This tutorial is found in Settings, Accessibility, and VoiceOver. So if we go into Settings, and then go into Accessibility,
button, accessibility, heading,
and then under the vision heading, VoiceOver,
on, VoiceOver, switch button, on.
You will find if you flick past the descriptive content as to what VoiceOver is.
What's new in VoiceOver? Link.
First, this What's New in VoiceOver link is also a new feature in iOS 18 that you can use to learn what is new in VoiceOver, but we're going to keep flicking to the right past that.
VoiceOver practice button.
Past this VoiceOver practice that has been there before and which is still available.
VoiceOver tutorial button.
And now, with another flick to the right, we land on this new feature, VoiceOver tutorial. So we'll double tap to go in here.
Collections page. Learn how to use VoiceOver. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to use VoiceOver to navigate and use your iPhone. Some instructions may not apply if you've customized VoiceOver, and VoiceOver may be restricted throughout the tutorial. Button.
A very nice explanation there to begin the tutorial. Now, if you've completed the tutorial, you will land in a collections page that shows you all of the different aspects of the tutorial again so that you can pick up where you left off if you haven't completed it entirely or if you want to review a certain section. If you have not gone through the tutorial before, it will immediately launch once you select this VoiceOver tutorial option. Since I have completed the tutorial before to see what it contains, I will select by double tapping on the first item that we land on the collections page, which will launch the tutorial, and we'll go through it a little bit so you can see what it is like.
Select the next item VoiceOver automatically reads aloud the selected on-screen item, like text or a button. Which item is selected by moving the selection. To select the next on-screen item, swipe from left to right with one finger. Swipe one finger from left to right now to move to the next page.
So it is looking for this specific gesture. I will perform that gesture, swiping.
Swipe one finger from left to right now to move to the next page.
And I did that on purpose, so you can see if you do nothing, it will repeat. So I will do that now.
Continue. Select the previous item. You just practiced the gesture to select the next item. To select the previous on-screen item, swipe from right to left with one finger. Swipe one finger from right to left now to move to the next page. Select the previous activated item. Some items can be activated, which performs their default action. This is similar to clicking the mouse on the item or pressing a button to submit a form. To activate the selected item, tap the screen twice with one finger. Double tap with one finger to move to the next page.
Very descriptive.
Double tap, practice navigating. Now, you'll practice the commands you just learned by navigating a practice page. All practice pages like this will have steps to complete, a practice area, and a continue button. When you complete a step, you'll hear a sound and VoiceOver will announce the next step. This is the first step. Swipe right to select the button labeled Practice. Practice button. Step completed. Now, double tap with one finger to activate the button. Step completed. Now, swipe right again to move to the Continue button. Step completed. Now, double tap with one finger to activate the Continue button. Touch to select and speak an item.
And this continues on, simply following the directions and moving along in the tutorial. So now let's take an overall look at what topics the tutorial covers. I'm going to double tap the Collections button in the upper left-hand corner to go back to the list of topics.
Collection.
And we'll swipe to the right repeatedly to see what the collections are.
Collections. Continue from where you left off.
Keep swiping to the right to see the different collections.
Learn introductory VoiceOver interaction gestures button.
Keep swiping to the right.
Navigate your iPhone with VoiceOver button. The VoiceOver Rotor button. Practice advanced VoiceOver gestures button. Text entry with VoiceOver button. Access more VoiceOver resources button.
And those are the 6 collections. So as you can see, this is quite a comprehensive introductory tutorial that you can go through at your leisure, whether you are new to VoiceOver or just wanting to review, so that you have a solid foundation for using your iPhone. All right. Thank you, Brad. Does anyone have any questions? This is a long overdue feature, but very good that it is there now.
This is Jody.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
I love the way it's interactive, where you actually have to, perform the gesture that it's teaching. That's a great idea. What does it give for future VoiceOver resources?
It gives, if I remember correctly, it definitely gives the Apple information. Let me see. I can actually now, I should be able to go in there and do exactly what I said in the bite here. And I should be able to click on this collection. And I am going to do that now and let us see what it tells us here. So it says access more VoiceOver resources. All right, let's see. So it's talking about, okay. So first it starts by talking about different settings. So it says you can customize your VoiceOver experience and learn what's new in VoiceOver. So where it is, and then it gives you samples of settings like voice parameters and Braille input output, talking about customizing commands, talking about VoiceOver quick settings, and then when you click continue, then it gives talking about more let's see, finding more detailed descriptions of gestures, use of voiceover with braille displays, and more information about voiceover settings. And it's telling us to go to the user guide saying how to open it. Oh, and the user guide is not only available on the web, but back to the tips app that was mentioned earlier. It is apparently under user guides in the tips app. So that is a useful tip. And that is all that it is providing there with more resources. So very much Apple centric. Yes. Good question.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have a question on the tutorial? And it is very good. It makes you like type. It describes to you the different typing styles and the standard typing, touch typing, direct touch typing, and you can pick one, and then it has you type into an edit field, and of course using the rotor and such. It's very comprehensive. Scrolling, all kinds of fun things.
This is Claudia.
All right. Yes, Claudia, go ahead.
Yeah, I've used my phone for years, and I've never used touch typing, and the other one I can't remember what it's called. Direct touch typing. I've never used that. Can this tutorial teach me how to do that?
All right. Well, it doesn't actually, what it does is describes them to you, and then it allows you to pick one and practice with it. So like it will tell you the standard typing is what you're using now, which is where you have to double tap on each key.
That's what I
in order.
use.
Yes. And then it'll describe. So it'll say touch typing is where you hold your finger until you find the key that you want as you drag it around the keyboard, and then you lift your finger and the key is going to get entered. And then direct touch typing is generally, it's described in the tutorial as basically typing as if you didn't have voiceover on. So I would suggest probably not using direct touch typing in most circumstances. Where I've sometimes heard of it being useful is for like instruments like a piano app or something that has its own keys. But generally, maybe if that conflicts with voiceover, but in the ordinary course, I would say probably to stick with either standard or touch typing. So it doesn't like teach you the letters, the keyboard layout per se, but what it does have, so you can select your typing style in that tutorial screen, and then there is an edit field, and it'll prompt you, double tap to go into it, and then you can practice touch typing in the tutorial. I mean, it doesn't have lessons or anything like that for touch typing. It's just basically, it's looking for you to type something, right? The point, it's wanting you to know how to type. Yeah. So it's not, the focus isn't on typing, but I mean, you can certainly practice it in that edit field, or of course, anywhere you can open a notepad, a notes field or something like that, and type as well and set your rotor to touch typing. But yeah, the tutorial itself doesn't have like typing lessons or anything like that. But it has a one screen wherein you can play around with the different styles in a practice field.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. Good question. All right. Any other questions? All right. Very good. Well, then we shall return to our program of any iDevice related questions here for our final half an hour of the evening. So any questions on iOS with VoiceOver, or iPad with VoiceOver, Apple Watch, Apple TV, HomePod? Use of any accessories with them. Shri, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Claudia, how well does she use standard typing?
How what?
How well is she using standard typing?
Well. Okay. Claudia, if you do want to comment on that, feel free. All right.
I was just going to say, if she's done standard typing is how I started. And once I got familiar with it, then I moved over to touch typing. So, it wasn't a big deal jump or a big jump going from standard to touch if you know your keyboard layout.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I hope that helps you, Claudia. Yeah, the keyboard layout does stay the same. It's just a matter of a different way that when you lift your finger, that letter gets automatically, entered. But as long as, if you're moving your hand around and such, you're just going to hear the keys under your fingers. You'll just hear the letters. But yeah, really, it's just it's a preference thing, and you have options.
And this is Shri.
Right. Go ahead, Shri.
Also, I think if you touch typing, if you don't lift your finger, just kind of place it there, it'll also, after some period of time, will select the letter too.
Yes, or it may even, if you're just holding it, the alternate characters panel.
That'll come up too.
Sometimes it pops up as well. Yes. That's if you keep your finger in one place on one specific letter for a few seconds. And this alternate characters panel is, for example, it contains like accented characters with that letter, like the, E acute or the E grave or what have you, for example, if you're focused on the letter E. So a lot of those that are used in different non-English languages. So, right, very good. All right, who would like to ask the next question? There are all questions are valid questions. We are all learning together.
Marvin from Chicago.
Marvin, go ahead.
As far as different voices, how many different voices can I download, or is it just according to the size of my phone?
All right. Who would like to answer this? Because in terms of the ease of using lots of voices has recently gotten easier. Anyone have any thoughts? All right. Well, to my knowledge, it is just if you can fit them on your phone, you should be able to download them. What's nice now with iOS 18 is that the voice selection is no longer tied to language. So it used to just be, for example, you could set a language of like English US, and you would be limited to setting one voice associated with English US, and then another one for English UK, and you could have voices on your phone, but you could only use, those one at a time per language on your rotor. And now that's completely changed. Sorry about that. I'm too close to my mic. Now it's completely changed, and now there's a voices item on your rotor, and you can have as many different voices as you want on that rotor. So, to my knowledge, there's if it fits on your phone, I haven't seen anything about a limit, so you can download and play. But I will note that there is a sample associated with each voice that you should be able to speak samples. So that might help you to decide if you do want to download them or not. All right. Very good. Well, have fun playing with different voices. It's been definitely made a lot more streamlined in iOS 18. All right. Who would like to ask the next question? Any app updates that are behaving in quirky ways?
Maria, this is Deb.
Deb, go ahead.
Yeah, just an additional comment about the voices from Marvin. This is probably an obvious thing, but if he downloads the voices and doesn't like them or whatever, they're easy to delete. So if he finds they're taking up too much room on his phone, he could always delete the ones he don't want.
Yes, absolutely. I think that is a good point. Yes, when you go into that list of under voiceover and speech, you can either select the edit button and then delete them, or even faster than that, if you just go through your list of voices, there is an actions rotor item available, and you have activate or delete. And so you can certainly delete them from there. And another aspect to keep in mind is that the voices, especially the vocalizer, the nuance, what are they called nowadays? Technically, like sirens. Anyway, the human like voices usually have multiple variants. So, of course, the compact versus the what do they call it? Enhanced versus premium, something like that. The higher quality, the more space they will take. But iOS will tell you how much of space the voices are using. All right. Any other questions? New questions?
This is Vincent.
Vincent, yes.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Has anybody updated the to iOS 18 on an iPad? And are there any items that are relevant or quirky?
All right. iPad OS 18. Any experiences that are unique to the iPad OS?
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
It depends on which iPad you have. I heard that if you bought the new iPad, you weren't getting iOS 18 yet.
No. I do have the one that I have. I am able to upgrade to 18, but I have not downloaded it. It's the this is the lowest end iPad that can be upgraded. So after this one, I will have, when they go into 19, I'll probably have to get the newer iPad. But right now, this one I can update, and it is available, but I have not updated it yet. It became available to me last Tuesday, I think, or something like that.
This is Shri.
All right. Shri, go ahead.
Yeah, I updated my dad's iPad and didn't have any issues with it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Well, good luck, Vincent. Hopefully that means you won't have issues either. All right. Who would like to ask the next question? Well, while you're thinking, I will ask. This might be a quirk of mine, one of those periodically when you keep installing over top, sometimes things get corrupted, and sometimes you just have to give it a good reset and clean install. So I'm wondering, has anyone in music, so the Apple Music app, has anyone experienced when scrolling, so when you select an artist after performing a search, and as you scroll, right, you can get after the top songs, you get to albums, and perhaps you select, there's like a button for albums in case there are a good number of them, and then there's this nice little list that you're supposed to be able to nicely scroll and, browse albums and find the tracks. And for me, it's like when I select that button and I start to scroll, it's like the iPhone, it just completely like freezes, and it takes me like a few seconds to be able to do anything. And when I finally do something, the app, it hasn't closed, but I get taken out of the app and taken to the home screen. And the music app does remain in the app switcher, but it's like a loop. Like I can go back in and start to scroll again and does it again. So I'm wondering if anyone else experienced this. I have a feeling not, because I feel like I would have seen it at this point and, some kind of a bug. So I'm wondering if it's, a quirk that
this is Shri.
I need to resolve. All right. I think I heard Shri first.
I have definitely experienced this in other apps besides music.
Oh, okay. Were they built-in Apple apps or other apps, like third parties?
Both. I actually reported to Apple because I've had it experienced it pretty frequently.
All right. Well, thank you. Pat, go ahead.
Yes, I have experienced that problem where it seems to lock up, and I have been kicked out of a couple apps. One of them was music, and I forget what the other one was.
Okay.
But
this is Shri.
All right. One more. Pat, were you finished, or did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Then Shri, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, Maria, does it have a dynamic island?
Yes. It's a 15 Pro, yeah.
Apparently when Apple looked at it, they said that the voiceover focus was on the dynamic island when that happened.
Huh. So, but that doesn't make sense to me, because if it was on the dynamic island, if I touched, then, if I touched below the dynamic island, I should still be in music and not on my home screen.
That is correct. But visually what they were telling me when this happened to me is they see voiceover focus stuck on the dynamic island area.
Okay.
Like when you touch the middle of the screen, do you just hear dot, dot, dot? Like you hear nothing?
Well, initially, yeah, like when it gets kind of stuck, right? Like I won't hear anything, but then it will revert to the home screen. And the app, like, yeah, it like you said, it doesn't do anything initially, but then it does revert to the home screen with the app being open still. And I've just been kicked out of it. Is that what you're experiencing too? Okay. So when they looked at that, when it goes back to the home screen, does that mean that the voiceover like that just doesn't?
No, when you go to the home screen, it's not. But for some reason, when that app gets stuck, they're telling me that the focus was on the dynamic island.
But then why would... That's so weird, because if you touched below, right, like even if you were in the music app or wherever, whichever app, right, if you touched below, the focus should move away from the dynamic island.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's not doing that.
My instinct could be very unique to that point, but they just saw it on the dynamic island and they couldn't figure out why it wouldn't move away from it.
Oh, that's definitely one aspect of it. But I see. So they're saying like it's not moving away from it. Even the problem is that even though it's supposed to, when we touch the screen, it's supposed to move away. They're saying it's not moving away. I see.
Visually, that's what they're telling me, what they're seeing on the screen.
Oh, I see. So then the voiceover not making any sound initially is like it's not getting a refocus of what's on the screen or something. So it's just showing nothing.
Yeah, mine just happens randomly.
Okay. Oh, well, that could be. How are you able to? Was a sighted person telling you what they saw? Is this how you, or were you able to like remote with Apple? I wonder how I should.
So what had happened, I called Apple Accessibility just to see what they saw on the screen. They did a screen sharing and then they could see it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I guess I should call them too and see if maybe that's the same issue, because the more, and Pat, you too, and whoever is at least like reporting it to accessibility@apple.com, that the more people they hear from, the more likely they are to do something about this. For both of you or for anyone else who has any comment on this, did this start for you with iOS 18 or has it been an issue for longer?
This is Shri.
Yep.
Mine's been before iOS 18. I had it on 17 too. I was going to ask Pat if she's got a phone with the dynamic island too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat,
this
if
is
you'd like
Pat.
to comment.
Yes, I do. I have the 15 Pro Max. So I just sometimes it feels like different apps are just locking up and I can't figure out, and I haven't had time to call about it, but I will.
Sure. All right.
Next time it locks up, I'll call.
Right. The problem, right, is being able to at least this one I can reproduce, more predictably, because that's part of the problem as well. So, all right. Well, thank you all. I guess that's good to know that it's not just me. I don't need to, reinstall everything. So
this is Jody.
All right. Jody, go ahead. And then I think we can shift from this.
I've seen comments on some email lists where people say that, their phone goes silent, and I wonder how many of them are having that happen. How do you get out of it?
If anyone, I know how I've been able to get out of it is just kind of wait a little bit, and then eventually it'll say something.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
I just close and reopen it.
Okay. Like, by it, you mean the app in question? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I just hit the lock button, lock the phone, and then unlock it, and it starts talking again.
Oh, all right. Well, very good. That's faster. All right, beautiful. Thank you all. All right, who would like to ask the next question?
This is David.
Go ahead, David.
I've had an issue. It's not constant, it's kind of intermittent, but it's like since 18, when I try to bring up the notification center, like I'm swiping down from the top, going past the control center and the second
vibration or the
but I don't get the notification center, and one time I had to reboot my phone to get it to come back. I don't know if that's something
right. Yes, has anyone experienced this?
Yes.
Go ahead, Pat. Yeah.
Yes, and I rebooted.
Yeah.
I tried to just turn it off, restart, and that didn't work. But I've done that several times since I did the 18 because it just seems to lock up and stuff, and it's crazy.
Yes.
We had that issue a while, I think. Was it 16 or before 16? But it took them a while to fix it.
Yes, until it broke again. Go ahead, Shriek.
So I was going to ask David, if he does the 3-finger swipe down on the status bar, does he get Notification Center?
Oh, I like the prior way. Okay, go ahead, David.
Well, I don't use that gesture anymore. I guess I just use the single finger. Pull down. But next time it happens, I'll try it.
Yeah, this is Maria. I will say when I use my mantis, because that's the gesture, I have to simulate that sequence, the going to the status bar and then doing the scrolling down, 3-finger, simulate that gesture, the option, and oh gosh, is it down arrow? It's too late in the evening, whether it's up or down arrow. But anyway, and when I have done that, yes, my results have been mixed as well as to whether the notification center actually pops up. So for what that's worth, I haven't actually performed that gesture sequence on the touch screen itself, since I'm more apt to use the new gestures too. But with my mantis, I've done the equivalence and had the same results. So and go figure. I think I actually, when I was going through the tutorial to see what it contained, I think I literally had that happen where it did not register. It took me a couple of times to try it, even though I heard the second vibration for it to recognize that I had performed that gesture. So I don't know. Go figure. Maybe that's related.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Because I know with iOS 18, they had there was a touch issue on the screen that they supposedly fixed in 18.01. So I was just going to ask David if he's running 18.01.
All right, David, 18.0.1. Any?
No, I have not.
What you're using?
I've not updated it yet.
Okay.
18.01.
Because this is Shri. That's supposed to fix some of the touch issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I'll check it out. I'm going to install it tonight.
All right, very good. Yes, mine is set to install tonight as well in the middle of the night. So we'll find out. Well, Shri, have you had a better experience?
This is Shri. I didn't have that issue with the status bar, and I haven't had any issues with the touch issues because from what I read, it was not, everybody was not experiencing, it was randomly people were experiencing where it wasn't responding to touch. And that was one of the fixes with 18.01 was to address that.
All right. Well, very good. Hopefully that will address some of it for all of us, but I guess we'll find out very soon. All right, go ahead, Marty.
A new question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the passwords app, I had a little trouble, but I figured when I go to edit, I can view my password character by character. In the passwords app, when you're finally in your whatever you want to check your password on, when you swipe up and down, there's I think 3 options. It's activate, copy, or reveal. What is that reveal option? I clicked on it and I didn't really notice anything.
Okay. Does anyone have experience with this app? I'm thinking because I use a third-party password manager, so I haven't played with it yet. My initial thought would be that reveal would show you what your password actually is, that it would make it visible somewhere. For VoiceOver to announce your password. But yes, Brad, go ahead.
I believe that's what it does. I've played with it, but I don't recall using that action rotor gesture.
This is Jake. I know what reveal is.
Okay, one moment.
Let Jake.
Was that it? Okay, go ahead, Jake.
Are you talking about the Apple Passwords app?
Yes.
Yeah, the reveal means that it's going to tell you the password.
All right. Have you played? So Marty was saying that he didn't see a change. Have you played with this, Jake? Like, do you know where it's supposed to appear? Is it?
When it says like if you start at the beginning and you swipe down, you'll see your username.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see password. It'll say password hidden, and then you swipe up. It'll say reveal password. Double tap on it, and then you swipe back, and then swipe towards this password again. You'll see it, and it'll tell you the password.
All right. Very good. So you have to swipe past that again, that label. It sounds like once you swipe past the label, then it will tell you.
Yeah, it'll tell you. Yes.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, Marty, hope that helps then.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Who would like to ask the next question?
This is Greg.
Greg, go ahead.
Right. I belong to a group that recently had some old iPhones donated, and I was trying to find out what, like the battery, if the battery was still in good shape or not. And these are like iPhone 6s. And the first thing, they had all been reset. The first thing is I'm told first thing that shows up on the screen is that hello Ola. How do you turn voiceover on? I mean, the shortcut has not been enabled, and I tried to get Siri to turn voiceover on, and that doesn't work because it's not set up to accept Siri commands. How do you turn voiceover on so you can check?
All right. Do you know, because you said these are, and if anyone has any thoughts, the initial thing that came to my mind was because you said this is such an old phone. I do wonder which iOS version it is running and whether that ability to turn voiceover on just like that from the phone itself on that start screen has been enabled. Because I know in the past, I used to, I feel like I had to either, I don't remember if I had to triple click no, I think back in the day I had to install from like an iTunes backup and select to turn voiceover on or something before that feature was implemented. So gosh, I don't even know which iOS version iPhone 6 would be running now.
Does anyone
have any? Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, back in the day you had to encrypt your iTunes backup.
Yeah.
And then you had to install it. You had to install it from an iTunes backup, and you'd plug in the phone, and then you would install it from there, and you'd make sure that voiceover was on, and then it would do it.
Yeah.
And because if you didn't do it, you'd have to have somebody help you set it up.
Right. Did I hear Brad? Yes, go ahead, Brad.
You could still do that. I set up my 16 Pro that way. But, I mean, I didn't have to fool with voiceover because it was already on when I did the backup. And when I set up the phone, because the easiest thing to do was just tell it it's a new phone. That way I don't have to fool with all kinds of stuff, backing up from iCloud or waiting on all that. I just told it it's a new phone. And then once it's done, I connected it to the Mac and went in and restored from an encrypted backup, and it just did it, and it was done. Everything was just the way it was when I did the backup from the 15 Pro.
Oh, okay.
Even called the phone a 15 Pro. I had to go in and change the name.
Oh wow! Were you?
It just clones the old phone.
Yeah. Were you able to, because if I remember correctly, and this is from Windows as my reference, but I feel like in iTunes there is like an option when you go into the device, in like device summary or something, is there like an accessibility section and you can enable voiceover? Yeah, right, there was.
I don't know if there is. I haven't looked now, and I've never done it on Windows. It's been a while since they separated out, when they broke up iTunes into music, TV, a bunch of separate apps.
Right.
You now manage through Finder on the Mac. But anyway, just back to setting up an iPhone, it's really the same as it's always been. I have to go look and see. I bet that accessibility stuff, it was down there at the bottom, and I've never bothered to go that far down in a while.
Right. Well, it sounds like maybe, Greg, you might have to do that. Who is that? I didn't catch.
Dawn from Houston.
Dawn, yes, go ahead.
Will pressing the home button triple time make voiceover come on? I don't know.
This is Brad.
No. Brad, go ahead.
On a brand new phone, yes, it will.
Right. On a brand new phone today, but it sounds like if these are very old phones, they might be running an iOS version prior to when that feature was made available for a new setup. That's what it's sounding like. Greg, yeah, go ahead. Oh, Shri, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I definitely experienced what Greg is talking about, where I've, the pressing the home button 3 times, that voiceover, the shortcut was set to none, and Siri was not turned on, and I had to have someone who's sighted to go into, settings accessibility voiceover to turn voiceover on.
Was this with a new phone?
No, old phones.
This is Brad.
Okay. Go ahead, Brad.
It used to be on the older phones, I don't know how long ago. During the setup process, if you did the triple press of the home button, or once upon a time it was the home button, or later the side button when we didn't have home buttons. But if you did that the very first before you did anything, it would turn on voiceover. But if you started fiddling with the phone and doing other things, then that option didn't work anymore, and you had to. It wasn't so simple. You had to get sighted assistance to get it turned on. That's where connecting it to the computer, and going into that would do it for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully, Greg, that'll help you then with hopefully connecting to a computer of some sort will be an option for you to be able to get that going. Otherwise, I would suggest if, using your own device, maybe I had to do this once with my work phone, because of course on my work phone, they're going to set it up to be managed by my employer and, installing certain things and removing certain things and what have you. So I knew it was not going to work. And sure enough, and I ended up having an Ira agent, but I'm sure you could have someone, with Be My Eyes or some such, holding my personal phone over the screen and having the agent tell me where to, and my work phone was even locked with a passcode. So we had to, have the agent describe to me where I put my hand, and we just went through that, and we eventually, she directed me, there was the settings, but, move your finger over to the right a little bit and what have you. And we ended up, settings accessibility voiceover, and thankfully turned it on. It was an adventure. It took a little while, but it did end up working. So hopefully one of those options will work for you. So with that, we have reached the end of our iBUG Buzz for this evening, but do stay on for the After Buzz. But a quick reminder that this week we've got several events coming up. Tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central, we've got the iBUG Mini Buzz like this, but an hour of questions. Same Zoom line. Thursday, again, same Zoom line from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Central Time. The Vila Book Club reading the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. And then on Sunday, 4 to 5:30 p.m. Central Time, the iBUG Cafe to learn all about the new. You've heard little hints of them today, but come back to the cafe so you can learn all about the new features in iOS 18. And so with that,
Marie,
thank you.
Is there a movie tonight?
And there's a movie on Friday night. Thank you, Marty. Yes, there is this Friday, which is before this Sunday. I got my dates all mixed up. This Friday, come for our iBUG movie night, which is the movie Murder on the Orient Express, the original one from the 1970s with that amazing cast and great book, great movie. Come join us. Of course, there's the pre-social time at 7 p.m. Central, and then followed by the movie. So do join us for that. So many great events happening this week. So we hope to see you at one of those or more.
This is Terry.
Yes.
The pre-social for the movie starts at 7:15 on Friday, I believe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, 7:15. I got too excited and wanted it to start earlier. So 7:15 p.m. Central Time. So with that, thank you all for your wonderful questions and your participation, and have a great night. And we hope to see you at another iBUG event this week.